Hello and welcome. The UK's Conservative Party has just unveiled one of the most radical and aggressive in migration proposals in recent British history. At their annual conference, they announced a plan to remove 750,000 illegal immigrants within a single 5-year parliamentary term. It's a policy being described as Trump-style, involving sweeping new powers, a major overhaul of the legal system, and a direct challenge to international human rights conventions. But what are the specifics? How would it work? And what does it mean for the future of immigration in the UK? Today, we're breaking it all down. First, let's look at the core of the proposal.
Tired of us asking all of these irrelevant questions about where should they go. They will go back to where they should do or another country, but they should not be here. We need to look after the people in our country.
But it's not irrelevant to say where would they go. That's a fundamentally important question.
It is the most relevant question is should they be here? If they should not be here, then they need to be removed.
And once you have concluded that, you have to say where they would go.
The logical conclusion of what you're saying is that let's just give up. It's just all too difficult. This is how we've got to this mess. We cannot have this attitude anymore. That is why we have come up with a credible plan. It's not going to be easy.
It's a credible plan.
But it is.
Tell us credibly where they would go.
I've answered that question.
No,
they will
you
go
haven't
back.
told us where they would go.
They will go back to where they came from. That's what they need to do. We cannot have a situation where we can't deport people and say, well, we don't know where they go, so they can just stay here.
The headline figure is the removal of 750,000 people over 5 years. That's an average of 150,000 people per year. To put that into perspective, over the last year, around 35,000 migrants were removed from the UK, and the majority of those left voluntarily. This plan, therefore, represents a massive 5-fold increase in the rate of enforced removals. This target isn't just for future arrivals. The party says it includes people currently living in the UK illegally, as well as any foreign nationals convicted of a crime more serious than a minor traffic offence. So, how do they plan to achieve this? The centrepiece of the strategy is the creation of a new, empowered body. The Home Office's current Immigration Enforcement Unit would be rebranded as a removals force. And it's not just a name change. The plan is to double its budget, adding an extra £820 million per year, bringing its total annual funding to £1.6 billion. The Conservatives claim this money can be unlocked by closing the hotels currently used to house asylum seekers. This new force would be given a clear mandate: remove at least 150,000 people annually. Perhaps the most controversial part of this plan lies in the legal changes it proposes. It's a fundamental reshaping of the UK's asylum and immigration justice system. First, anyone who enters the UK without permission would be banned from ever claiming asylum. Full stop. Second, the entire appeals process would be taken out of the courts. Currently, if an asylum claim is rejected, the individual can challenge that decision in an immigration tribunal overseen by independent judges. Under this new plan, that tribunal would be abolished for these cases. Instead, appeals would be handled internally by a team of officials within the Home Office, the very same department that made the initial decision. And third, taxpayer-funded legal aid for immigration cases would be abolished. The party's proposal document argues that because claims would be fairly assessed against the criteria, there will be no need for lawyers. This is a seismic shift. It effectively removes independent judicial oversight from the asylum appeals process and centralises power entirely within the Home Office. To make these changes stick, the Conservatives are prepared to take a monumental step, ending the UK's 75-year membership of the European Convention on Human Rights, or ECHR. This international treaty, which the UK helped draft after World War II, protects fundamental rights and has been a major avenue for legal challenges against deportations. By leaving it, the government would aim to thwart appeals and streamline the removal process. When asked where exactly these 750,000 people would be sent, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch was blunt. She said they should go back to where they came from or to another safe third country. When pressed repeatedly to name specific countries, she dismissed the question as irrelevant, stating that voters were not interested in these sorts of questions. She argued that being unable to deport people simply because we don't know where they will go is a defeatist attitude. The plan also includes threatening to withhold aid and visas from countries that refuse to cooperate on taking back their nationals. It's impossible to view this policy in a vacuum. It comes at a time when the Conservatives are facing dire poll ratings and a significant challenge from Nigel Farage's Reform UK party. In fact, Reform UK made a similar pledge over the summer to deport 600,000 migrants and leave the ECHR. Kemi Badenoch has tried to frame her party's plan as more credible, stating it's backed by a comprehensive legal analysis. This creates a clear dividing line with the opposition Labour Party. Labour has pledged tough action on small boat crossings, but has ruled out leaving the ECHR. Instead, they are reviewing how the treaty is applied in UK law and have proposed policies like lengthening the route to permanent settlement to make the UK a less attractive destination. Interestingly, while the Conservatives are willing to leave the ECHR, they are stopping short of formally leaving the 1951 Refugee Convention. However, they plan to pass laws that would prevent UK courts from even considering it in asylum cases, and have pledged to leave it if activist judges attempt to override Parliament. Beyond the legal framework, the plan also details new powers for enforcement on the ground. It draws inspiration from policies enacted under President Trump in the US. Police forces would be instructed to check the details of everyone they arrest against biometric border data. They would also be allowed to use facial recognition technology without having to inform the public it's in use. To support the removal process, an unspecified existing facility would be expanded to detain between 1,000 and 2,000 migrants before they are removed. Finally, the very grounds the claiming asylum would be narrowed. Claims from those fleeing generalized conflict, or what the party calls less tolerant laws on religion or sexuality, would be excluded. The focus would be strictly on those facing a direct threat from the government in their home country. So, to summarise, the Conservatives are proposing a complete overhaul of the UK's immigration system, a target of 750,000 deportations, a newly empowered and funded removals force, the abolition of independent legal appeals, the removal of legal aid, and a withdrawal from the European Convention on Human Rights. It's a hardline stance designed to show voters they are serious about controlling borders, a message Kemi Badenoch reinforced by saying nations need a strong common culture and cannot survive on diversity alone. But it leaves huge questions unanswered. Is it practically feasible to increase deportations fivefold? Where will the money for the removals force come from before the savings from closing hotels are realised? And what are the profound ethical and legal implications of dismantling a 75-year-old system of human rights and judicial oversight? This is a policy that will undoubtedly define the political debate in the UK for months to come. What do you think of this plan? Is it a credible solution to illegal immigration, or a dangerous overreach of state power? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth analysis on the stories that matter.